So dueling interviews the last 2 days between the U.S. president and the Israeli prime minister, not helpful for U.S.-Israel ties. And on the one hand, Netanyahu is correct. When there's more daylight between Israel and the U.S., it might galvanize Hamas to think, in its own mind, that it only has to wait out U.S. patience until the U.S. brings the hammer down and forces Israel to stop the war. In other words, it could egg Hamas on to not accept a temporary halt to the fighting, a ceasefire, release of hostages, and maybe wait a few more weeks to see how things play out on the U.S.-Israel front. On the other hand, the U.S. president is very correct when he criticizes Netanyahu and the Israeli government in saying that not enough has been done and more needs to be done with regard to alleviating the real humanitarian crisis inside the Gaza Strip. Because for Biden, there's a feedback loop for what happens in the Gaza war, obviously, to his own domestic politics. And Biden, through the interview and also, I understand, through back channels, is trying to explain to Netanyahu and really the Israeli government, you are not the only ones with politics, with domestic politics. You are not the only ones facing potentially existential crisis. Biden is facing re-election, as we all know, in November. He's up against Donald Trump. Biden and many people in America view it as an existential moment for American democracy, amongst other reasons. And so this is Biden trying to relay that message very strongly, very directly, but also we should keep in mind, he's not criticizing the entire war effort. He's not even criticizing the war aims as set out by the Israeli government. He's just demanding and requesting Israel do more to alleviate the situation.
And his rhetoric and the Biden administration rhetoric does seem to be getting stronger as the war continues.
Right, because they're losing patience, because a lot of the things that they've asked the Israeli government to do, again, not to stop the war or perhaps, change wholesale the war aims, but to do things, again, like I said, on the humanitarian front, better planning for the day after Hamas, future post-war planning, not done. Issues relating to the West Bank and the Palestinian Authority. Netanyahu and many of his senior ministers have refused to even countenance any role for the Palestinian Authority in Gaza, something that not only the U.S. but many Arab allies of Israel are requesting and demanding of the Israeli government. So in a whole host of issues, the Israeli government has been unresponsive, while Biden, in his own mind, thinks and believes, and I would argue rightfully so, that he's gone out on a very far limb to support the Israeli war effort, including sending real military assets to the region to support Israel, shipments of munitions and weapons, cover at the United Nations diplomatically, and so on and so forth. Not a minor thing in terms of the Israeli war effort. He wants to see some reciprocation from Netanyahu.